Snow, I am still so jet lagged.
MJ, where did you go? Let's tell the folks.
Well, I flew out to Denver, Colorado over the weekend to see my nephew. We met him, Jeff. We went to Hogs N Heifers that night before Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was the night that Bill O'Reilly got fired, and we started shit on Facebook.
Oh my God, we made that meme that because people were so pissed at.
Yeah, because we were toasting Bill O'Reilly getting fired.
Yeah, I remember one of your friends called me the C word, and so one of my friends was like called him, "How dare you talk to her like that?" And was like, "If anyone's the C word, you're the C word." It was hilarious. There was a lot of C words in that one.
You know, we've been
because of loser ass Bill O'Reilly.
We've been doing this podcast for 4 years, but we've been pissing off people a whole lot longer.
Like, can't we all just get along? We can't even agree that Bill O'Reilly is a bit of a dick.
I know.
I mean, you can't agree with that, even if.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you know, you got sexual assault allegations and pills and all that other stuff.
Like, I will sit there and agree that Harvey Weinstein's a total dick.
Yeah.
And how many Democratic political figures did he donate to? And I will agree that he's a dickwad.
What?
You know, why do they have such a hard time doing this?
I don't know. I don't know. But there is one thing that we can agree on in the United States. Okay? We'll get into why I went to Denver in a minute. I think we can all agree on that air travel fucking blows.
Oh my God. Don't even tell me about it. Like, oh.
God.
Oh my God.
So you ran into a problem on your flight back.
I was during the time that they had that fucking
well, it wasn't a cyber attack.
Glitch in the
cyber
system.
Glitch, yeah, there's this Microsoft attack and CrowdStrike is the company behind
all the
that.
flights were backed up. Like, luckily by the time I flew back out, the flights were back, although one of my flights was delayed because I was fine with where I went for the layover, but then the layover was delayed 2 hours.
Well, that is child's play compared to my story.
Ruh-roh.
Okay.
What happened to you?
So I fly out to Denver. My flight's at 1 a.m. Okay, so I get to the airport about 9:30, 10, figuring I'll just go, try to find someplace open and get something to eat.
So wait, did you not even stay the night there? You just went there, flew there, and then...
We'll get into that.
Okay.
We'll talk about getting to Harry Reid Airport.
You know how I am about, like, timelines, so...
Yeah. Okay.
I'm all forensic files.
Okay,
right now.
so we get...
In case there was a murder.
So we get to... Well, I get to Harry Reid, and I've got plenty of time to kill. But I go to TSA, and being a late flight, there's not many left at that time of night. So right through TSA. And I'm at Terminal 3, which is across the highway from the main terminal.
Yeah, you take the shuttle.
Take the shuttle, over. And there's the TSA. You go through. You check your ID, and then you go through the security checkpoint. There's 1, 2, and 3. In 1, there's this lady in a wheelchair, and I know that's going to take time. In the second one, there's a couple people standing there. In the third one, there's one person standing there. So I go over to that one.
Go to number 3.
I go to number 3. I take out the container. All I have is a laptop bag. Okay? Because I brought my laptop. I brought a change of shirt, shorts, and underwear. That's all I brought because I'm only going to be there for a day. Oops.
Yeah.
Okay? So I'm only going to be there for 36 hours or so. So I go to pull the laptop out of the bag. Now, last time at Harry Reid that I went there for a flight, they told me not to pull the laptop out. But I was just prepared. Pull the laptop out, and there's not another bin to put the laptop in. So I go to the attendant, who's this, he's probably mid-20s.
Why can't you put it in your bin? You have to put it in a separate one?
They tell you to put it in a separate bin. So he's standing there like this. And he's telling everybody behind me, you can go to that line. You can go to that line. You can go to that line. I go, yeah, excuse me. Do I need to put the laptop in a separate bin? He goes, yes. I was like, okay.
Can I have another bin?
Yeah, there's no bins here. Can I get another one? Oh, I'm sorry, it's automated. Meanwhile, I can look over his shoulder and there's a stack of bins. Okay, this is the story. He goes, well, it's automated. I don't know what to tell you. You can go over to the other one.
Oh my God, I would have said, you're just begging for AI to take your job, aren't you? Like, yeah. I mean, you're waiting for the automation to come get it when they're not even doing their fucking job?
Yeah. So I'm like, you can't get mad at a TSA agent.
No, you can't, because you'll get in trouble.
Yeah. So I go, I'm like, okay. I'm clearly frustrated. So I go over to one now, who now the old lady has gone through.
Okay.
Okay. I go over to one, and I have I'm holding my shoes. You know what I mean? I'm waddling over because I took my belt over and my shorts are starting to go down, you know? And they go, we can't help you here. Go to the next one. I go to number 2. And they go, I can't help you here. Go back to 3. I'm like, this point go, he told me to come over here.
Okay, I'm going to solve your problems right now. Without even, I want you to continue your story when we're done, but I have a solution for you already. I went ahead and did the TSA pre-check where you go and get like this known flyer number. It lasts 5 years and it costs $85 and it is worth every fucking penny. I think the price has even gone down now. Yeah. Honestly.
Well, we'll get to that point and your point about noise canceling headphones.
You need to do that. Oh my God.
Right, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. Woo. So I go back to number 3 where I started, and he goes, "Here's your bin." And I'm just staring at him, you know, like, you motherfucker. And this comes from my last flight experience. I was flying from Sacramento back to Vegas. And in that, I was with Colin. And we're at the security checkpoint again. And, you know, Colin, Asperger's and stuff like that. I was telling him, hey, be prepared when you get up there and try to make it quick. Well, he was fumbling around. So I stopped what I was doing, and I was helping him, you know, untangle his headphones and everything else, even though I told him, you know, hey, put your headphones away before we get up there. You know, I said, put everything away before you get up there. Just be ready. But he didn't. Okay, whatever. So he was like, move along. Keep it moving. I'm like, okay, I'm trying. Move along. I told you. I'm like, okay, I'm trying. And then so with the frustration that I had with that guy yelling at me in front of Colin, I was just like, okay, let's just go through. You know, and I didn't push my bag forward.
Oh.
He goes, you're just going to leave your bag there?
Oh, no.
I'm like, you're yelling at me.
Why would he say? Normally they don't fucking say it like that. They're like, push your bag through, like, you know, like you can tell like they're irritated because of all the dum-dums that come through. They're like, everybody needs to push their own bag through. Like, you always hear
yeah, I
mean,
they could.
Like, why was he yelling at you? He could have done. You need to push your bag through, guy. Like, yeah. He should have talked to you like that. Yeah. Like, not.
So my last 2 experiences with TSA have been just shit. So then we get to it, and okay, this is another mistake because I was trying to save money. I flew Frontier. Rather than pay double the price for the next airline.
Right, and you would think, okay, so Frontier, that is my number 1 airline of the airline that I never want to fucking fly ever again in my entire life. However, I would have probably done the same thing as you and cut them some slack only because their base is in Denver, where I'm flying. So I'm like, there's no way on God's green earth that they could probably fuck this one up, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Okay, you have the floor.
So, yeah.
What did Frontier do?
It's a relatively short flight, okay? A relatively short flight.
Maybe like 2 hours, if that.
Right. So, our the plane that's before me, I'm there early enough to see the people departing the plane before me. And then it gets up time to board, and they say, oh, due to a crew scheduling conflict, we need to wait for another crew to come in. And that will be about 20 minutes.
Okay, no big deal. I mean, it sucks.
Well, yeah, delay of 20
bad.
minutes. And I see the
20
other
minutes.
I see the other plane come in, and they, after everybody departs the plane, I see the crew come off the plane with their luggage and proceed towards the exit.
Okay.
And they don't say anything. And it's just like, okay, well, why can't you just tell the truth? Okay? You weren't waiting for that crew, obviously, because I was watching them and they came off. And eventually another crew did show up, maybe another 20 minutes or so after that. So, all in all, I was delayed by maybe an hour getting to Denver.
That kind of sucks, though.
Okay. So I get to Denver, and it's 5. I was supposed to get in at 4. It's 5 in the morning. I get into Denver. And they have a train, because Denver Airport is probably a good 30 miles outside Denver.
Okay.
So there's a train that runs 24/7, and you can get an all-day pass for
Cool.
$5.
Cool.
Okay? So I'm thinking, well, this is cheaper than renting a car.
I love public transportation.
Yeah. So, and my nephew sent me, yeah, you can, take this train, get off at Union Station in Denver,
And he'll pick you up.
get on this train.
Oh,
That will
okay.
take you close to where he lives. He lives between Boulder and Denver.
Oh, okay, and then he'll come get you.
He'll come get me at the second place. Yeah, fine. So I get to Union Station, and I find out that the line that goes up to where he lives is closed, and they say, go use, we run a shuttle bus instead. Okay. And so I go down the stairs, the escalators aren't working, so I go down 2 flights of stairs to get to the lower level, and I don't see any signs for the shuttle to the station. So I walk the length of this thing, which is has to be a half mile from one end to the other of this bus station. I get to the security guy at the end, and I'm like, hey, I don't see it. What terminal am I supposed to wait at? And she goes, well, terminal 21, which is way down at the bottom of the stairs where I first came in.
Okay.
I get there, I look up the sign, and I see all the routes. I don't see the train station on any of those routes. I just see street names, which mean nothing to me. I've never spent time in Denver before. And I'm like going, I don't see it. I can't figure this out. So I walk up 2 flights of stairs, go back outside, wait for the yellow sign to come across, see if it gives any more information. It says, yeah, go to Terminal 5. So I walk back down 2 flights of stairs, go to Terminal 5, which is about 3/4 of the way across this bus terminal.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm waiting there, and it says, okay, the next bus is at 8:05. This is probably 7 o'clock at this time. But even then, it says it's going to this. So I look in the map, and I text my nephew. I'm like, hey, is this street anywhere near where you are? He goes, no. I'm like, what the fuck? And there's nobody in this terminal to ask. There's no one other than the security guards. There's nobody at the ticket windows to ask. There's nothing. At this point, I'm hungry. So I go up 2 flights of stairs on the other side, and I'm walking around, and there's nothing there. There's just nothing. I found a Whole Foods, actually, but I was just like, well, I don't know why am I going to eat at Whole Foods?
They have a whole section where you just get grab and go stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
You should have went in there.
I wish we had a Whole Foods here. That looked like a cool ass store.
I know. You know what they have at Whole Foods? Side note, I went in the Whole Foods in Tucson, and I'm walking around, and I see this thing that says, speaking of the French, croissant bread. Croissant bread. It's a loaf of bread that is like a croissant. Thick croissant, like, it is the best fucking bread I've ever had in my entire life.
Oh, really?
Like, I love, yeah. So I bought a bunch of it when I was down.
All I had was a laptop bag, so I was just like, well.
Right, and you're not going to buy a whole loaf.
Yeah.
But just so you know, like, yeah, I bought like 4 loaves last time I went down to visit my sister because they have Whole Foods in Tempe. Because I love using it for my avocado toast.
Well,
It's amazing.
we're going to be up in Vegas for the next couple of weekends, so I think I need to go to Whole Foods while I'm up there.
You need to get the croissant toast.
Yeah.
I got my sister buying it now.
All right. So I eventually I just called my nephew he was out late the night before. I said, "You're just gonna have to come get me," and he did. It was about 20 minutes. And this is the funny part. I'm in Denver, Union Station. Picture there's 3 street corners around this supermarket.
Right.
He goes, I eventually, found a CVS, and I just got like a snack and a soda, some caffeine. And so he goes, "Hey, I'm here. I'm in the blue Tesla." I'm like, "All right, cool, that should be easy enough." I look over to my right.
There's 15 of them.
I see a blue Tesla. I walk up, there's nobody in it. I'm like, "Are you in the car?" He goes, "No." He goes, "Well, I'm at the corner of this and this." He goes, "No, I'm at the other corner." So I walk around. On the second corner, I see another blue Tesla with nobody in it. I'm like, "You're in the car?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Turn to your left." I turn around, and there he is in another blue Tesla.
Yeah, I know. Denver is probably full of blue
Yeah,
Teslas.
because there's a lot of, high-tech jobs in that area.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I'll admit, as much as I hate Elon Musk, that car is
Teslas are
fucking cool.
Yeah, they're nice cars. I've been in them before too. I mean, it's a nice car. It's just, why'd you have to piss off liberals? That was who was buying your fucking car, dumbass.
Yeah.
But whatever.
So we'll just continue the travel story. So the rest of the weekend went awesome. I get back to the airport. I didn't even spend, like I said, less than 36 hours there. I get back to the airport to come home yesterday morning, and obviously I have about 4 or 5 hours to kill before my flight. So I'm like, well, I'll just try to catch a cat nap, and the airport's pretty deserted that time of night. So I find this one walkway that was fairly deserted, except for a few people that were also just trying to, catch a little sleep, where you just, kind of like sleeping on the chairs or sleeping next to the chairs.
Right?
And this one lady at 4 o'clock in the morning was letting her little 4-year-old run up and down the aisles, clearly seeing that there's other people trying to sleep. But no, she would let him run up and down that hallway.
Enter in noise canceling headphones.
Noise canceling headphones. That gets me to the second part of the story, is now you have people on airplanes. People have always been obnoxious on airplanes. Don't get me wrong. Always obnoxious on airlines. But now they're watching their fucking movies on their phones without headphones on.
But if you have noise canceling headphones, you don't have to hear any of that shit.
Yeah, and I get on the plane and the lady in front of me is on a speakerphone speaking in Spanish to who knows who, having this loud conversation. And I don't even think that people know how loud they are when they're talking. It's like, dude, shut up! I don't want to hear your fucking conversation.
Dude, all the times I've had to listen, like my last trip, I was at the airport and I'm like waiting for my second flight, and I'm like, there was this woman who was she was on her phone, but she was like talking louder than a person normally talks, like to get attention.
Listen to me.
Listen to what I have to say. It's so important, right? Like 10 times louder than I am on this podcast, because I'm a loud ass person too, but I'm like, bitch, you are even too loud for me. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh, that's right. This time I remembered my fucking noise canceling headphones. So I get in my bag, right? And I'm like mad dogging her. I'm like, looking, because she's right across from me doing this nonsense, pulling them out of there, unzipping them, putting them on my head like that while I'm staring her like dead in the eyes, because I'm like, I want you to know how annoying you are, so maybe you'll tone it down and not bother the rest of the folks. That, and I always said the reason why I bought the noise canceling headphones in the first place, I was going on one of my best friend's trips, my birthday best friend. I go on a trip every year because I have a best friend. One of my besties, my birthday bestie. We go on a trip every year because we have the same birthday. We were in the airport this one year, and this girl is talking about. She is talking to her other friends. They're 4 like younger girls, talking about how she walked in on her brother jerking off. And she's talking about this like in the airport, like it's no big deal. I'm like, why the fuck would you even be talking about that? Like, why would you talk about this?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even get to the part where landing in Denver. You know when you land and there's still a plane at your gate?
Oh yeah, you have to sit on the tarmac.
Yeah, and in this plane, what we had is if the engines aren't running, it doesn't cool, so it gets pretty hot in there.
Yeah.
So we had to sit for like 20 minutes, and now that we were already delayed by almost an hour, a lot of people's connecting flights were getting close.
Yeah.
So the stewardesses, flight attendants, I shouldn't call them that, flight attendants, are saying, well, hey,
let these people
off first.
Right.
Okay, which everybody, show of hands, they were like, show of hands, who's on this flight, people were raising their hands and stuff like that. But we get to the gate, and the jetway attendant, pilot is what they call them, had gone to another gate because all these airlines trying to save money. We didn't have someone to drive the jetway up to that, so we're there for another.
That happen too.
We're there for another 20 minutes at the gate,
waiting for them to get other people over there.
And by this time, it's just bedlam. Like all the people from the back aren't going to wait their turn. They come up to the front, which I think is the biggest dick move. The biggest dick. You just no. If they don't call you to the front, you just sit and you wait your turn. It happened to me in Vegas too. This couple comes up.
Well, and here's the lazy part on the airlines. The stewardesses had enough time to go through and be like, all right, these people need to get off the airline first. They've got to go catch a flight. They could do that shit the same way that they could go through and fucking put people in check that are fucking abusing the overhead bins. They don't do that either. Because on my way back, they made me check a bag, and I was so pissed because I'm like, no, I fucking did. If you would have made me check this bag, I would have brought shit home if I would have known this. You know what I mean? Yeah. I could have brought beers home.
Right. You clearly always have that one person that they
fucking
have.
Assholes.
They have the bag that they're like just like. They're like, they have it in the overhead bin and they're just like on top of it, they'll just try to.
Or they'll put, so you know how you're allowed to have the carry-on and then you can have the personal item on certain airlines, right? Yeah. You have some of those jerk-offs who are shoving their carry-on and their fucking personal. So they're taking up 2 spaces when it's like, no, I know the rules. The personal item goes under the seat.
Right, which isn't comfortable if you're on an airline like
no,
Frontier.
It's not. Yeah. It's not, but you've got to follow the rules. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's bullshit, and people suck.
Yeah, and the same thing happened in Vegas the way before. And on the flight home, I'm on row 8, so I'm like, I'm getting right off this motherfucker. Right, cool. And this couple comes from the back, and I kind of just looked at him, because I had a long travel weekend. It was just a glance, and they go, I got places to be. I'm like, yeah, so do I.
Yeah. No, what you should have said was, because this is what I say to the people who jump the line, that guy really needs to take a shit. He's got to shit his pants. He's going to shit his pants. Let him off. Like, obviously, why else would you be that big of a dick to people? I get it. You've got to go fucking shit your pants.
Yeah. I don't get the entitlement on airlines that people think that they're so much better than everyone else.
I always want to stick my foot out just to trip them.
Oh,
be like, maybe you
dude,
won't ever do that again.
Bill Burr had a great bit about that. You know how when somebody does that and you go to get your overhead and you step in front of them and do like this when you pull your bag out, like
right?
Yeah, but
I always just go. They're gonna shit their pants.
I guess
they gotta get off
before I get out to why I was in Denver. I just want to say is people also wonder why people now again, like I was talking about the TSA, you cannot freak out on a TSA employee,
No.
no matter how bad they treat you. You can't go after a flight attendant. But I can also see why people get really frustrated during air travel also.
It is so like how have like the prices gone up and they charge you for everything and the service has gone down so fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing I don't get. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, if I'm paying more, if I've got to pay everything a la carte now, then why am I not getting like a la carte service at least?
And
where it means like you at least get some service.
This isn't us just being old, right? And be like
No.
grumpy old people. It has
Get off
gone,
my lawn. It's not us just being get off my lawn.
It has gotten so much worse over the past few years.
Come fly the friendly skies my ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like the airlines need to be like when they did the thing where they passed the law where if an airline fucks up your flight or whatnot, then and it's their fault, then they have to reimburse you in cash too. They can't just go for the whole we'll give you a credit. They have to give you your money back now, right? Like Biden administration got that handled.
Joe.
Right. Thanks, Joe. That's just that's just a chip though. That's just a chip. Like they need to go through and fucking do a lot to the airlines. They need to fucking do something about all the ridiculous fees that are charged. The fact that you can't have bags anymore. What the fuck? They've got you by the balls. What do they think you're doing? Like what? Not going to bring anything?
Yeah.
Like some of the airlines, they'll only cover for a personal item. So you're going on a trip. Like, they've got you by the balls because then they get to charge you for your carry-on or your checked bag. Like, you know what? We know what this is about. You guys go by weight on all that. Then why don't you just say each person's allowed to have this much weight and then do it by that? Because I get so fucking irritated on this. I'm like, I'm not even bringing that much crap. Yet you guys want to charge me all this extra money for this. Yeah. Like, fuck off.
Yeah. So it means it's a combination. It's greed, but also it's people. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with people since the pandemic. I'm sitting next to on the flight to Denver, okay, and I used to fly all the time, so I got really good at being able to sleep on planes.
Uh-huh.
I can't anymore. Again, noise canceling headphones would be a great idea. But this wouldn't have helped. For some reason, I always get stuck next to a J.D. Vance built guy. I'm not gonna body shame, but maybe a little husky on the husky side, who's got man spread in small seats anyways. So his right leg is 2/3 or a third into my seat already.
Yeah.
So and I don't
You're like, this is my seat. I'm not sharing.
And his arm is over the armrest into my space, so it's touching my arm. Now, I don't like people touching me that I don't know. Mm-mm. So I'm literally sitting like this. My arm is like this. See, this is a visual. Only Snow can tell what I'm doing. And I'm sitting like this and being really careful not to be into the guy next to me space. How comfortable do you think I was on a Frontier flight sitting like that?
No, I know. One time I was on a Southwest flight. I had to share a fourth of my seat with the person next to me. I was in the middle seat. I was sitting over, like I had 3/4 of the seat, and this person was like part of the way in my seat. And I'm like, that's why I'm like, and I'm not even allowed to bring like, well, on Southwest you're allowed 2 free bags, but other airlines it's like, I'm not allowed to bring a bag. Like when I have to share part of my seat, like why don't you take some of that off?
Yeah.
Like why don't you give me credit for this?
Yeah. I've got 3/4 of my
I'm
seat.
all the way over here. My back was fucked up because I was like sitting like this in my chair. I couldn't even. There was no room to like move around in my seat.
Well, luckily, about an hour into the flight, the guy next to me on my right side could see how clearly uncomfortable I must have been, And he looked around and he saw like a couple rows back. There was like a row with 2 empty seats. And he got up and went to that seat. I didn't even have a chance to thank him. He just saw it and just got up and moved.
Well, yeah, the flight attendants should be going around doing that. On some airlines, they do that. They're like, hey, we don't have sold out seats, so if you guys want, they'll usually go in the area where the seats are, and they're like, hey, if you want to go and have where you guys have no person in the middle, by all means, go ahead. There's a row open.
Yeah, so air travel just sucks. And something has to be done.
It sucks balls. It's the worst.
And
worst customer service.
And if you want to tell me how much the economy sucks and you can't afford grocery tickets or grocery prices, you can't afford to eat, how come every flight's fucking packed?
I know. How are you flying places? How are you out there doing this if you can't even afford the price of eggs?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So we'll get to the good part about why I went to Denver. So I went to Denver to see my nephew. I hadn't seen him since before the pandemic, and you know him, you met him. He's a cool guy. So and I've also never been to Denver, bucket list city. But my favorite band, Foo Fighters, was playing at Mile High Stadium. My nephew's never seen Foo Fighters. So there's nothing I like more than turning on my kid or my nephew to new bands that they haven't seen. So we go up there, we're going to the Foo Fighters show, and we have all day to kill. So he picks me up at the airport and he goes, well, you wanted to see Red Rock's, the amphitheater. I'm like, yeah, it's on my bucket list also. Coming to Denver, I'm going to Red Rocks. So it was a 20-minute drive from where he picked me up. So we go up there. Beautiful place, iconic. If you ever saw the U2 live at Red Rocks, beautiful.
I actually watched the South Park guys do their show at Red Rocks. They
really?
sung the songs from the show.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have gone to that.
Now, going there must be really uncomfortable because all it is just steps, wooden steps, rocks. There's no seats on it. So you're either standing up or you're sitting on rocks, unless you bring folded chairs or whatever. And we get out of the Tesla, and I'm like going, hey, I don't know what it is about the altitude. I'm not feeling a thing. Well, that lasted another 100 yards till we started climbing the stairs.
I was going to say.
And I started, he goes, my nephew Jeff, who, I'm not going to say on air what he does, goes, yeah, I'm already feeling it.
And he lives there.
He lives there. We get to the top of the stairs. My lungs are like on fire. And I'm just like, this is so fucking cool.
You're lucky you didn't get sicker than that, though.
Yeah.
Like, altitude sickness can put you down for the day, dude.
Yeah. And I hadn't slept at that point either. And you have these people here, and their whole thing was, there's like, maybe on a Saturday morning, there's like 1,000 people who are all there to do yoga in the morning, this huge yoga session. And then after that, people are running up and down the stairs for exercise, like the most beautiful humans on the planet.
Right.
Are in that area.
Right.
And so that was just a really cool experience. Then he goes, hey, you want to go to Topgolf now? And I'm just like, dude, no. As much as I want to,
dude,
no.
Topgolf is fun, though.
Yeah.
You can, drink beers and hit golf balls.
Well, he said we could either go to Topgolf or we could go up to Boulder. Now, I've always wanted to go to Boulder. Mark and Mindy and shit.
Uh-huh.
It always looked beautiful. I'm like, hey, let's go to Boulder. So that's what we did. We went to Boulder and went this, again, the main street is closed off to pedestrian traffic, all the time. And it's just nice streetscaping, plants. And I found out that the people that did Pearl Street in Boulder also designed Church Street in Burlington, Vermont, which is the same way. All the main shops downtown are on this street. And it really reminded me just like being back in Vermont and stuff like that.
Cool.
And it was big Ben & Jerry's there too.
Oh, sweet.
But yeah, it was just really cool. Went to this place called the West Side Tavern, which is just a really cool pub. I realized I was in a bar of really progressive people because everybody was watching the Olympics cheering for Team USA.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Cool. No boycotters there.
Yeah, yeah, and there's no political signs. Everybody just had a really cool vibe. You know what? You went to Des Moines, right? And you just realize when you're in a town that has a really cool vibe to it, you just pick up on it. Like, oh, these people seem really fucking cool here.
Yeah, I like Des Moines. Plus, they have good food. Des Moines is like a mini Chicago, like a really, really small Chicago. On the based off of the fact that they have amazing food everywhere. I didn't have a complaint about any of the food I had in Des Moines. Everything was amazing. I could go back to Des Moines for a week and probably eat and have a fantastic time.
Well,
and I love the place I stayed.
I got that vibe from Boulder where I was just like, wow, this is, if things went south, this is a place I could move to because I feel like I'd be amongst my people.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
You know, I just got that vibe. So then, you know, we end up going to the Foo Fighters show, which, amazing, my favorite band. But Mile High Stadium, where the Broncos play, I have never been in a stadium that fucking loud before.
And, right, I know, because you had texted me that about the sound. Have you been to where the Seahawks play, though? They say that the way that the Seahawks stadium was built, that's why they do the 12-man thing, because it's so loud there.
I think that's what the way Mile High is designed also to a certain degree.
Maybe.
Because the crowd was just so much louder than any other stadium show. And it was to the point where people were like stamping their feet, you know, and it just makes it felt like an earthquake. And it was to the point where Dave Grohl was on stage going, how is this place structurally sound?
Yeah.
You know, because he could hear it from the stage. And with his monitors in his ear and the amplifiers, he could hear it over all that.
Wow.
It was just really fucking cool. So despite all the air travel woes and fucking everything else and being exhausted, I had a fucking fantastic time in Denver.
At least you got to see your favorite band.
And my favorite nephew.
and your favorite nephew.
Yeah, so it was a great time. Glad it was worth all the misery. But air travel could have made it a lot better.
Yeah, they really need to do something about that.
Yeah. All right, so there we go. You know, hey, we're giving you extra material this week, even though I'm exhausted.
Wrapping it up.
Yep. So we will talk to you soon.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.